Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to talk about some random things I want in Bloxburg that really don't make sense, but I definitely do want them. So the first thing I definitely want is monsteras, and those are jungle plants, something tropical I guess, but I definitely do want these plants in Welcome to Bloxburg, and maybe more varieties of like different tropical plants that really grow. Imagine if plants actually grow in your house and you need to like trim them or something like that. I think that would be so much fun to actually have that instead of like the normal plants that we're used to, just like the leaf plants and stuff like that. Because right now there is not a lot of variety in the plants, and I also wish that you could actually choose the plant pot, because right now you're kind of stuck to a plant pot if you want a certain type of plant. It would be nice if the plants were separate and then the pots were separate as well, so that you could actually mix and match. That would be so much fun to do. For example, if I want this pot but I wanted to add like a cactus inside it, that I can just like go ahead and do it like that and add my cactus onto it. Oh my god, that looks scary. But yeah, I definitely do want something like that, because right now I feel like there's not enough variety within plants. Some hanging plants, some other plants would be really cool to see, but mainly exotic plants is what I want. Then something else that I've mentioned a lot of times before is like a camper van that you can build. And how amazing would it be if you had like your own camper van? I'm on a Belgian van website, by the way, but how nice would it be if you had your own camper van that was empty inside and you could just add some couches, some custom stuff. For example, this with the stove and the fridge inside it, and then like a little sink and the bed in the back. How nice would it be to have that, and maybe some little boats at the beach as well. Maybe if the sea was a little bit bigger, how nice would it be to have like a boat that you could build in and have your own stuff inside it? I would love that so much. But I've mentioned that a lot of times. That's something I really truly want, and I hope we get it one day, but it's really hard to implement. Then something else I truly want, we can kind of make it, but it's floor tiles that you can make custom. I know we have flooring already, but if you just add like floor tiles, for example, I don't know what kind of thingy I want here. Maybe I should go for something like that so that I can more easily explain what I want. But as you can see, it's not as easy to like connect them, because there will always be a weird gap between it. Otherwise, I'll have to go in the middle like that. But just like tiles that you can place around and that don't look weird. I think I would love that so much. Like that you can see a little gap in between it. Oh my god, that's so amazing. But as you can see, if you do it with basic shapes, it's kind of hard to get it aligned. Especially if you do it diagonally, I think it would be easier if you just made it into a square and then you connect it like that. But that just looks like a floor, so why would you do that? But I think you get what I mean, like just some floor tiles that add more depth to your house, not these weird gaps that I have right now, but really tiny gaps, so that the floor at least has some 3D effect to it. Because right now, if you place a floor, it just looks like a flat image on the ground, and I kinda am over that, so I wish we had more depth to the floors, if that made any sense. Then something else I desperately want, I know we have pools, I know we can custom make it, but just a tool where you can drag up or down your plot, and if you drag it down, you immediately get into water, and you can create a custom pond like that. For example, with the resizing, if I click on a square here, that I can drag that down, and if I drag it down, I have a little pond. You can choose the watercolor for it. That would be so cool if I had like, I don't know, a swimming pond or something like that. I would love that. Also, being able to create mountains by dragging it up like that. Just some terraforming would be amazing to see, and dragging it up like that would be, I would love that. But I think that would be so hard to add. Also, right now the plots just, I don't know, if I go up a little bit more, if you like look at it, everything is just so flat and right next to each other, and we have like different types of houses. So I would love to have like different heights and stuff like that hide the fact that there's like a totally different styled house right next to you. But that would require an entire new map. Then another thing I would love to do, especially for role players and stuff like that, if you have like walls but mainly beds, where you could actually go up to your closet and change your bed sheets, so that you buy multiple bed sheets or something like that in build mode. You can store them in the closet, and if you take out a new bed sheet, you can change the material and the color of your bed without actually going into build mode. I think that would be so cool to see. If you just like take that off, that is for the laundry bin, you put that in the laundry bin, you take out a new bed sheet in your closet, you put that on your bed. For example, if I want a red elephant, I can totally change that from my closet without going into build mode, and just washing it and keeping it. That would be so much fun. But also being able to use the spray paint and the paint bottles that we have in build mode. We actually do have paint in build mode, so being able to use these, for example, with a paintbrush It is dark. Yes, it's dark. Going up to the paint bucket and actually taking out a color swatch that you like and just like trying to paint the wall to test if there's a color that you would like without going into build mode, because if you are walking around your house, it's still different than seeing it in build mode, and the angle in your house is just so different. So if you want to like test the swatch without going into build mode, going out of it, going to the room, you know, everything, it would be cool to add a paint thingy and that you can test like different swatches on your wall. I don't know, I think that would be a cool item to see. And then of course, going back to the farm animals as usual, but I definitely and desperately want like chickens or rabbits or something that you can create a little place for. So if you then go into fences, you can create your own little fenced area for them. So for example, if I want to make this into a chicken coop, I can totally add like a little chick house and collect eggs and put the eggs into my fridge or put them on display or wherever I want to put them. But I think it would be so nice to have like small farm animals, and I think small farm animals in a cage would be easier to make than actual animals like dogs and cats. So I think that would be a little bit easier to add, and imagine just having this in your garden, having some bunnies walking around, and if you don't close it off enough, they actually run away and you lose them. So you need to make sure that you actually close them in, and like some cages that you can buy and stuff like that, and just stuff that like improves the health. Like if the cage is too small, if I for example made this as a cage for my rabbits, that it would say that my rabbit is unhappy and you need to find out why it's unhappy, and being able to feed it carrots that you have grown yourself, I think that would be so cool to see. Like if you just had a little garden part in here and you grew carrots on there, being able to like take them to your bunnies and just like feed them. Maybe little turtles would be able to happen as well, and aquariums that you can decorate. So much animal stuff that I want, and I do think it's hard to add, but I feel like small animals are a little easier because they can just do whatever, and if they're in a cage, they can just limit themselves to that cage. So I don't know how hard it is, but I desperately want that. Then going into the household category, so I wish the laundry baskets would actually be useful. For example, if you went into the shower, that you actually had clothes that needed washing. If you change your bed sheets, like mentioned earlier, that you have to take the old bed sheets, put them in the washing machine, because right now you can go up to the washing machine at any time and do the laundry, but you don't know what laundry you're doing because it's basically just laundry that's whatever. And it would be nice if you like changed clothes that you actually see the clothes that you're wearing on the ground, and if you put them in the laundry machine, you put them in the ironing board, that you actually iron your own clothes and you recognize them. So for example, I currently am wearing the Look at All the Love. It would be nice to see that like on the floor and then being able to iron it and seeing that it's actually that shirt that I'm ironing. That would be so cool to see. But why I went to the household category in the first place is because I desperately want vacuuming and like cordless vacuums that you can just attach to the wall, and actual crumbs. For example, if you are cooking, that you actually need to clean up the crumbs that fell on the ground and you see the crumbs laying there, and maybe like with the people, if you have dirt on the floor and it smells, that there's actually like a yellow cloud coming out of it, like people who stink on Bloxburg. But yeah, I think that would be so amazing to see that there's actually like dirt on the ground that you need to clean up. If you are planting something in your house, that there's like mud on the ground in front of it that you need to vacuum away, and just like some really fancy vacuums like Dyson ones or stuff like that. I think that would be so cool to add, and maybe an option then to turn dirt off and laundry off if you don't want to roleplay or if you don't want to clean up, that you can turn that off easily. I think that would be so cool to see. And then another thing I truly want is like a store that you can make where NPCs go to. If you want to make a restaurant, NPCs go to your restaurant and you actually need to cook stuff for them. I think that would add so much depth to the gameplay that it would be insane. Like people would come back, would create restaurants. Imagine just placing a table, and you can lock off areas, of course. So for example, if you have this, and of course you need to make it cozy, otherwise people won't come as much and they will actually rate your restaurant. But for example, if you had this and then like a wall behind it with a door, just something very simple, and then you go out of build mode and you actually go up to the door and you set this door as my family only or something like that, so that NPCs wouldn't cross that door but only come into your restaurant, and then they sit down, and for example you see a little text bubble pop up where they ask for a turkey, for example, and then you need to go to your kitchen and actually prepare turkey for them, and you can use the open and close sign in lighting, or no, it's in decorate. Like for example, this sign, and if you put close, that the guests would actually stop coming, and you can close your restaurant, and maybe a level system with that as well. Just like when you're open, you can level up if there's customers in your restaurant. I think that would be so cool. But also stores, if you're like into farming and you farm a lot of carrots, that you can just put them on a display or something like that, and NPCs would come in and buy so many carrots from you or whatever you have in your store, that you actually click on things that you want to set for sale. But yeah, that would be so hard to add, but I I think that would add so much more to the gameplay, and people would actually come back, and even builders would make restaurants and then open their restaurants because they're proud of what they built. And I think that would add so much to the gameplay that I wonder why it hasn't been added yet. But yeah, definitely that's one of the things I want the most, because I feel like I would just play Bloxburg so much and just be so excited when someone walks into my restaurant, like even if it's an NPC. And these are some of the random things that I want. I know they won't all get added. Let me go under the light real quick because it's dark again. I know they won't all be added to the game, but some things I've been wanting for years, and I hope that some of them get added one day. I know we all have things that we want, so I don't know. Let me know what you want in the comments below, even if it's something really random like a phone, a certain type of phone or whatever, or a specific candle with a candle smell. I don't know, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, and please subscribe.